Apart from being called the Milwaukee Monster, the Milwaukee Cannibal, and other horrendous nicknames, Jeffrey Dahmer, one of the most infamous American serial killer. In a 13-year time period, in 2 different states, this demented man murdered 17 people. Netflix released a documentary named Monster: The Jeffrey Dahmer Story, where you can watch the story largely told from the points of view of his victims. In this video, we'll show you top 10 shocking facts you did not know about Jeffrey Dahmer. But before that, make sure to subscribe to us for more videos and tap the bell icon to get notified with every new video from us. So, without further ado, let's get started. Number 10. Jeffrey Dahmer was heavily inspired by his father. Born on July 29, 1936, Lionel Dahmer, a very busy man and a terrible husband to his then-wife Joyce Flint, taught Jeffrey how to dissect roadkills like possums, raccoons, and other dead animals that they found in the road. Jeffrey learned this at a very early age and became fascinated by animal dissections and taxidermy, which is an art of stuffing animal insides to make them look lifelike. At the time, his father thought he was teaching his son to follow his passion. Instead of using the given skills for good, Jeff later used them on his victims. Number 9. Doin' a Dahmer. According to the Urban Dictionary, doin' a Dahmer simply meant pulling a practical joke on someone to prank them. In school, Jeffrey often entertained other students by mimicking others' individuals. When Dahmer was convicted for the murders of 17 young men, the meaning of doin' a Dahmer completely changed. Since then, the phrase has only been associated with his horrendous crimes. Number 8. Jeffrey Dahmer helped the police to find the bodies of his victims. After getting arrested, Jeffrey Dahmer actually helped the Milwaukee police discover the dead bodies of his victims that he buried or kept somewhere. According to Dahmer, after committing his first murder back in 1978, he remained in a panicked state for over a year and felt scared every time he heard a cop car. He even said that he kept an eye on the news. Later, he confessed to each one of his crimes to the police and stated that, "For what I did, I should be dead." Number 7. The one that got away from Dahmer. On July 22, 1991, Jeffrey brought home Tracy Edwards, a man from a nearby club, by luring him with money. When Edwards entered Dahmer's apartment, he saw multiple bottles of hydrochloric acid lying around and a weird smell all over the apartment. That is when he knew that something was wrong with Dahmer and attempted to leave the house. Edwards hit Dahmer in the face and successfully escaped the house of horror with a handcuff dangling from one of his hands. The man ran through the streets and found a police patrol car. He took the cops to Dahmer's apartment. That is when they knew who Dahmer was and immediately arrested him. Later, Tracy Edwards was deemed a hero for exposing Jeffrey's crimes to the police. Number 6. A childhood surgery may have changed him forever. According to his family, Dahmer was a happy and energetic child until he underwent surgery for a double hernia. Around the same time, his little brother was born, and the family relocated several times to different parts of Ohio. Investigators believe that the combined impact of these events, beginning with the surgery, permanently altered Dahmer's psyche. He was never again the same happy child he had once been, and he began to retreat into himself. Number 5. He drank alcohol throughout the day, even in high school. Jeffrey Dahmer began abusing alcohol as an adolescent. Classmates recalled his smuggling beer, wine, and all manner of hard liquor into class, or stashing bottles in his locker. The drinking had a negative impact on Dahmer's performance as a student and compounded his isolation. His parents even hired a private tutor in hopes of bolstering his grades. Nevertheless, some students remembered Dahmer as a class clown, a person who pulled pranks to amuse others. He achieved average grades, which his teachers attributed to slacking off rather than lack of intelligence, and even played tennis and spent a year in the school band. Number 4. He committed his first murder just 3 weeks after graduating high school. In the summer of 1978, just weeks after graduating high school, Jeffrey Dahmer picked up an 18-year-old hitchhiker named Stephen Mark Hicks. Hicks was on his way to a rock concert. Dahmer convinced the young man to accompany him to his home where they could drink together. After hours of drinking, Hicks expressed his desire to leave. Dahmer instead murdered him. The murder of Hicks wouldn't come to light until the 1990s, after Dahmer had murdered 16 more people and was finally in police custody. Number 3. Dahmer served as a combat medic in the U.S. Army. In January 1979, Dahmer enlisted in the U.S. Army. He trained as a medical specialist in San Antonio, Texas, and was deployed to Baumholder, West Germany. From 1979 to 1981, Dahmer served as a combat medic, during which time he reportedly drugged 2 soldiers. The first victim claimed Dahmer abused him once after drugging him. The second, who was Dahmer's roommate, stated that he was abused repeatedly while they shared a living space. Dahmer's alcoholism followed him to West Germany as well. In 1981, after being declared unsuitable for military service, Dahmer was honorably discharged and sent back to the United States. Number 2. Dahmer enjoyed the Exorcist films. Tracy Edwards, Dahmer's would-be 18th victim who escaped and led police back to Dahmer's apartment, noted that The Exorcist 3 had been playing as Dahmer tried to subdue and attack him. Forensic psychiatrist Dr. Park Dietz spent hours speaking with Dahmer after his arrest, in an attempt to understand the man's drive to kill. According to Dr. Dietz's testimony, Dahmer often watched The Exorcist 3 as well as Star Wars: Return of the Jedi before cruising for victims. Sometimes, as in the case of Edwards, he'd even watch these films with his victims prior to attacking them. Number 1. Dahmer killed and stored the remains of up to 4 men while living at his grandmother's house. After returning from West Germany, Dahmer briefly moved in with his father and stepmother in Ohio. Then, in December of 1981, Dahmer relocated to live with his grandmother in West Allis, Wisconsin. While here, Dahmer worked a number of day jobs: phlebotomist, a mixer at a chocolate factory. In his off hours, he frequented bathhouses and began preying upon young men. Dahmer lured a number of his victims back to his grandmother's home, where he would drug and murder them. Eventually, Dahmer's grandmother asked her grandson to move out of her home because of his habit of always bringing men home late at night and due to the foul smells emanating from the basement. Those are the top 10 shocking facts you did not know about Jeffrey Dahmer. Hope you enjoy this video. If so, make sure to subscribe to us for more videos and tap the bell icon to get notified with every new video from us. See you in the next video.